Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, By in the Moment When Words Were No Longer Needed and quote. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. I never made an entrance. He didn't bark loudly to announce his presence. He didn't jump or spin in circles the way dogs in videos often do. I arrived in moments the same way morning light slips through half-open curtains, quietly, gently, and without asking for permission. That morning began like many others. The house was still sleepy. The clock ticked lazily on the wall, and the air carried the faint smell of last night's rain drifting in through an open window. I sat on the couch with a cup of coffee that had already gone lukewarm, staring at nothing in particular. My phone lay face down on the table, heavy with messages I didn't feel ready to read. I noticed before I did. He patted over on soft paws, nails clicking lightly against the floor. His ears twitched once, then settled. Without a sound, he placed his chin on my knee, resting the weight of his head there as if it belonged exactly in that spot. I didn't look down right away. I waited. That was one of his talents, waiting without impatience. He didn't demand attention. He simply offered himself. When I finally met his eyes, they were calm and steady, dark and warm, holding no questions at all. No, are you okay? No, what's wrong? Just presence. I reached down and scratched behind his ears. His tail gave a small, slow wag. Nothing dramatic, just enough to say, I'm here. We stayed like that for a long time. The coffee cooled completely. The clock kept ticking. Outside, a motorbike passed, then another. Life moved forward, but in that small shared space between my hand and Bai's fur, everything felt suspended. There was nothing to explain, nothing to solve, nothing to say, and somehow that was enough. I never learned many tricks. He could sit, of course, and lie down. Sometimes he would roll over if the mood struck him, though it was more of a lazy flop than a proper roll. But shake confused him, and play dead earned only a puzzled head tilt and a soft huff. Yet I understood things no one ever taught him. He knew when footsteps in the hallway meant joy and when they meant exhaustion. He knew the difference between laughter and forced cheerfulness. He knew when the house was full of people but empty of peace. On afternoons when I came home tired, I didn't rush me with excitement. He didn't grab a toy or demand a walk right away. Instead, he followed me from room to room at a respectful distance, like a quiet shadow. When I finally sat down, he curled up nearby, not touching, but close enough that I could feel the warmth of his body. Other days, when my energy was lighter, he became lighter too. He'd trot around the house with a sock in his mouth, tail wagging wildly, eyes shining as if to say, today is a good day. Let's not waste it. One evening, after a long day that had somehow managed to be both busy and empty, I sat on the floor with my back against the couch. I approached slowly, circled once, then settled beside me. He leaned his body into mine. Not enough to push, just enough to connect. I sighed without realizing it. I shifted slightly, adjusting until we fit together perfectly. His breathing was slow and steady. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I found myself matching his rhythm. Minutes passed, maybe more. I thought about all the words people use when they don't know what to say. It'll be okay. Stay strong. Cheer up. All well-intended. All sometimes exhausting. I offered none of them. He didn't try to fix anything. He didn't try to distract me. He simply stayed. And in that staying, I felt something loosen inside my chest, a knot I hadn't realized I was carrying. There was a moment, small, ordinary, easily forgettable, that I think about often. It happened on a quiet night. The lights were low. The television was on but muted, showing images I wasn't really watching. Bai lay beside me on the couch, his head resting on my thigh, his body completely relaxed. I absent-mindedly ran my fingers through his fur, feeling the familiar texture beneath my hand. Each stroke was the same. Each moment blended into the next. Then Bai shifted his head slightly and looked up at me. Our eyes met. There was no excitement in his gaze. No expectation. Just calm awareness. As if he were saying, this is enough, isn't it? And it was. In that moment, I realized something important. Bai didn't need me to be happy all the time. He didn't need me to be productive or cheerful or strong. He didn't care about the version of myself I showed the world. He cared about the version that sat quietly on the couch, tired and human and imperfect. I loved that person without conditions. Living with By taught me that connection doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it arrives wrapped in fur, breathing softly beside you. Sometimes it arrives in silence. And sometimes, the deepest understanding happens when nothing is said at all. That night, as By slowly drifted to sleep, I rested my head back and closed my eyes. For once, my mind was quiet. And in that shared silence, I felt understood. By, in that moment when no words were needed, reflect something deeply relevant to our modern lives. Today, we are surrounded by noise, messages, notifications, opinions, advice. We are encouraged to explain ourselves constantly, to justify our feelings, to always have the right words. Yet, By reminds us that true connection does not always require language. From By, we can learn the value of presence. Being there for someone does not mean fixing their problems or offering perfect advice. Sometimes, it simply means sitting beside them, listening without interruption, and allowing silence to exist without discomfort. Animals understand this instinctively. They offer companionship without judgment, patience without expectation, and love without conditions. In our relationships, with family, friends, and even ourselves, we can apply this lesson. Slow down. Pay attention. Notice when someone needs understanding rather than solutions. Allow quiet moments to breathe instead of rushing to fill them. Most importantly, By teaches us respect for emotional space, both human and animal. When we treat animals as emotional beings rather than possessions, we create relationships built on trust and empathy. And in doing so, we become kinder, calmer humans. Sometimes, the most meaningful conversations happen without words at all.